Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. This is Moving Forward, and it is Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Pride. It is June. We are 6 months into the year, which is pretty insane to me. What happened? I don't know, but we're here. The weather's getting warmer. That's nice. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you had a restorative one. I had an okay weekend. I didn't do much, but it was nice. Got to relax. Today we're talking about the end. I want to explore the ends of this administration. How this will end. I'm not necessarily, well, we'll see what comes out in the cards. You never know. But I want to explore, checking the energy again. I do sense that we may not be, like I've been saying, going into the fall with this. This month, we're out of the suspension, as my monthly reading showed. We'll see how this week goes. There's a lot going on. I hope, like I said, like we talked about on Friday, that you're taking care of yourselves. You're living your lives, rather. Live your life, please. I get it. It's a lot going on. I get it. I get all that jazz. And it's important to live your life. These people are here living their lives. It's what we can do the most when it comes to this situation. But yeah, I'm going to explore, let's see, some timelines perhaps. I want to explore some energies, a few things, but we'll see how it goes. And before we start, I want to shout out a podcast. Someone emailed me. I'll read the email. Hi, Kim. Hello. It's always a joy to listen. I'm just gonna breeze over that because I'm awkward. I know it's not necessarily a small business, but my partner and I have been doing a podcast on YouTube and Spotify entitled Seeview Circle. That's SEEVIEW Circle with an exclamation mark. Okay? We started off in the autumn when we were focusing on our favorite TV shows. Hold on. Which I just started streaming on free platforms. The show was called Knots Landing. Oh, Knots Landing. Nice. It was on for 14 years. We love all kinds of old school television and vintage fashions, etc. However, we are also into modern television as well. We love the Yellow Jackets. I have not watched that show yet. Excuse me. I have not watched that show yet. It just finished its third season. Our podcast has had a lot more success with this show. Hold on. I lost my space. Give me a second. Bear with me. It's had a lot more success with this show, and we do talk about all kinds of other fun stuff. Okay. Actually mentioned Juno of the week. Thank you. I appreciate that. We were afraid of discussing paper products, but anyway. Sure, I can send a shout out to Dougie and Brady. Check out their podcast on YouTube and Spotify entitled Seeview Circle. Okay? So I just wanted to do that real quick. Also, please go check out the Indigo Corner, Dr. Ken. I'm not sure if I have to go check. He's very close to 500. We're trying to get him 500 and above. Please go check him out. Something weird is happening to my throat. Let me get some water. Might be allergies. Anyway, Jeez. But go check those guys out, okay? Everything I say here is for entertainment purposes only. Everything I say here is alleged. And this is also for informational purposes only. Okay, so everything said here is alleged, even in the comments. All right. Whoa. First of all, I just remembered Donald Trump appeared in my dream. That has never happened. Has that happened before? No, that has never happened before. Where he's appeared directly in my dream. It was nothing significant happened in a dream. It might have just been a dream, but I've never dreamed about him ever. And he was in my dream. There was more, I only specifically remember him sitting smugly, dressed in, he didn't have a suit on, he was just dressed in regular clothes, and I was showing something, I was teaching something, it was like a PowerPoint, and he was sitting there with his arms crossed, and he was sitting there with his arms crossed, but he looked younger. But that's all I remember. It was nothing, there was no nothing happened really. But I've never had, I don't really think about him that much, quite honestly. Only when I happen to see something does he cross my mind. I try not to think about him. But he appeared in my dream. I was trying to teach something, but I can't remember what I was showing or teaching, but I know he was just being smug in the dream. So that was interesting. And I think it was just a dream though, I don't know. Residuals, I have no idea. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Do I have anything else to say? I think that's it. I keep seeing people in power or important people or other politicians or former politicians say, oh, this is very concerning. Oh, it's concerning. Oh, that's all they'll say. Concerning. This is concerning. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to explore the end. Let's see what comes out. Okay. First question is, what is the current energy surrounding the end of the administration? So I'm kind of going to do this. You guys know I don't lean too heavily on timelines because time is very tricky for me. Because sometimes I feel like when I'm talking about the future. I've gotten better at it, but a lot of times I feel like I'm indifferent. My gift sometimes is indifferent anyway. But I am going to try. Okay, so the way I'm going to look at this in terms of the cards is wands is days to weeks. Okay, the suit of wands. All right, so that means wands, it happens quickly, quick progression. Swords could be weeks to months. Okay, moderate with some conflict perhaps. Cups is months. Okay, emotional, slow moving. And Pentacles is months to years. Okay, like a slow, grounded sort of energy. Okay, major cards, long-term stuff, like I always talk about. Court cards. No, I'm not going to get too complicated as I do sometimes. I'm not going to do that. Okay, but let's see. What is the current energy surrounding the end of this administration? Okay. Got cards wanting to jump out already. I may use more than one deck. Let me use this one. Okay. All right. There's the current energy surrounding and okay. All right, so I'm going to do it in the order that I've seen. Knight of Pentacles. The Hermit. What are the energies surrounding the end of this administration? Hermit, okay. Knight of Pentacles is methodical, slow-moving energy, okay. It's a focus, locked-in energy as you move towards something, a goal, okay. Your goals, you know, it's strategic, it's methodical, okay. So the question again, if you're like me and you quickly forget questions, it is what is the current energy surrounding the end of this administration? Okay, so the Hermit, I've labeled the Hermit as the card of, you know, so the Hermit is a major card, right? And it also represents isolation, you know. There's a fork in the road, you need to contemplate where you're going. You go left, you go right. Okay, sure, that definitely could be a part of the end. This sort of, the Hermit is about your purpose, thinking about where you're going. You have to sort of withdraw within and go into deep contemplation and introspection. Then you have the Knight of Pentacles, where this sort of locked in energy that's like A, B, C, D, E, F, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, you know. It's a slow moving energy, but it's methodical and sort of locked in. You don't really stray from that. And also, I've labeled the Hermit card because the Hermit also represents corruption, you know, roguery, dissonance, you know, things you shouldn't be doing. Okay, so that's part of that energy, you know, that surrounds the end of this administration. Okay, and then you have the Five of Pentacles here. And Five of Pentacles is something being taken away from you or feeling a lack of something. Okay, you are bankrupt in every way imaginable. Losing out, okay, being left out in the cold. It's about isolation. It's about being spiritually bankrupt, financially, you know, emotional, you know. So that's another energy surrounding the, you know, the end of this administration. Okay. Those 3 cards fell out. All right, so let's see. Let's keep shuffling. Let's keep shuffling. 2 more shuffles. Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands. This is someone. Queen of Wands. Some feminine energy. Perhaps, you know, pushing against the end of this administration. This willful determination, you know. You really can't tell the Queen of Wands a lot. You can't get through, you know, with the Queen of Wands. She's confident. She's determined. She's willful. So that's part of that energy. That's someone. That is a person. Or it could be an archetype, you know, not necessarily a person, but just an energy that is, you know, it could be many people, it could be many women, it could be, you know, that's pushing, you know, that you have the Knight of Pentacles on one side and the Queen of Wands on the other side. You know, this forceful, willful energy pushing against whatever they're, you know, corruption, greed, all that stuff. And it's facing the Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, I mean. Okay, let's see what else. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. New opportunities for growth. Wow, it's so interesting because it's like the energy surrounding the end of this administration. The Queen of Wands and the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. New opportunities for growth and expansion with the Ace of Pentacles. It just feels something about yeah, that's what it, you know, Ace of Pentacles is about new abundance or new opportunities for abundance. And it feels like whatever this energy here is doing, this Knight of Pentacles is like moving someone or something. The energy itself has been slow, okay? But methodical, focused, locked in, moving towards whatever it's moving towards, the end, right? We're here. And the you know, Knight of Pentacles, Pentacles in general is a slow-moving energy, but it's focused and expansive and practical and strategic in a sense, methodical rather. And so towards the end of this administration, it's like building up this person, putting down these pentacles as they're moving closer and closer to their goal, not straying, not unfocused. Perhaps an energy we're not seeing, like we are, you know, our physical selves are just like, oh, well, you know, well, we've been here, it's June. But it's like I've been told, like we've all been told by Spirit, is that patience is needed a lot with the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. And look, it's walking towards the dissonance and the corruption and the roguery being left out in the cold, okay? This willful, powerful energy, this determination, news, you know, this progression, it's, you know, it's the surrounding energies that starts this new, the ace, new abundance, new opportunities for growth, planting a seed, you know, because Pentacles are sober with the Ace of Pentacles. It's like something being planted, something that could grow, an opportunity. Okay. Like to manifest something tangible. Actual results. And that's what the Queen of Wands is doing. So that's the surrounding energy. Let's see. What else? Page of Cups always comes up. Page of Cups. Page of Cups is about your creativity, your intuition, okay? And it's a page. Pages always bring something, okay? And the page always it's always in the learning sort of period here. But it's also about compassion, idealism. You know, it's like when you think of the end of something, something is beginning. You know? You think of the end of something. Something else is coming from it. Let's put that here. All right? And so pages learn. Perhaps with the, you know, surrounding the end of this administration, it could be our compassion, you know, it could be our idealism sort of sweeping in all of that nonsense. Let's see. That's what it feels like. I'll put it here. There's a page. Does the Page of Cups represent the collective compassion and idealism in this reading? Does it represent? I'm saying yes. Okay. Yeah, it feels like this energy feels it feels like compassion. Not the administration having it, but something about this surrounding their end. Nine of Wands. Moving forward, perseverance. Really seeing the end, perhaps. You see that light on the end of the wand there? A quick progression to the end, like, you know, right? Being able to see it. Us seeing that, their end, is what that feels like. Two more. Eight of Swords. Them feeling trapped. Feeling limited. Unable to avoid the truth. Ten of Pentacles. The People again. A lot of Pentacles. Slow moving energy. A lot of Pentacles. Give me the overall. Give me the overall energy that could signal the end of this administration. Queen of Swords, and the Four of Cups came out. Queen of Swords. Four of Cups is about deep contemplation, or it could be about people simply not caring about this administration. But with the Queen of Swords here, it doesn't feel like that. These are both, this Four of Cups is always, there's always two cups filled that you could reach for, like a Hail Mary, so to speak, but it's really about taking space for deep contemplation to decide where you're going, okay? Queen of Swords is the Queen of Swords, okay? We have all four elements here also. Surrounding the end, we have cups, swords. So we have fire, water, earth, and air here, which is nice. A nice balance, okay? Queen of Swords, she searches through to the truth. You can't really BS the Queen of Swords. They're about fairness. They are able to, with these two cards here, to me it's like having a good balance between your rational side and your emotional side with the Four of Cups here. I'm just listening to what so my guys are saying a refocus, right? So surrounding the end of this administration, this energy is multiple things. These two cards here, the overall energy, not focused on the two cups that are spilled over, the ones that are still filled here. Perhaps the collective being able to gain that ability to focus on the two filled cups and not the ones that are spilled over with the Queen of Swords here. Honestly, this is what this is saying to me, is that it's going to be rough, but it has been rough. But it feels like truth coming out that is unavoidable. That will be the surrounding energy of the end of the administration, is that it will be plain to see. It will be plain to see. Undeniable. There'll be no, oh, this is concerning sort of comments. Okay. Undeniable truth. Slow moving energy. I feel it as, you know, but you kind of have to look at it as like, since when have we been through this? December, January, February, March, 7 months? Yeah. That's a long time when you're in the Knight of Pentacles energy, building something, okay? Or the energy itself building up. Okay. I'm going to pull this back. What is the collective energy? Or what is the collective lessons? What collective lessons are being offered to the nation during this transition? see what comes out. I'm just gonna pull 3 cards. I don't know what's going on with my hands. Collective lessons. 10 of Wands. Into burdens. You know, needing to let go of things so you can move, move into the next transition or next phase. Again, the question is, what collective lessons are being offered to the nation during this transition? So during the end, when it comes, yeah, and it's 10 of Wands. When it's a 10, it means, yes, it's a burden. It's burdensome. Okay, as you march up this mountain, 10 of Wands is also into burdens, because you are leaving, you're walking out of whatever you're having a hard time with into a new chapter. It's something new, because it's at its end with the 10 here. But it does recognize that these are burdens we will have to let go in order to move forward. Okay? Queen of Cups. Moving with the flow of life, increased intuition, compassion, and empathy. What did my channeled messages that I did a little bit ago? That was stressed. Compassion. Understanding one another, understanding each other. Empathy, compassion, how you connect, going with the flow, increased intuition, trusting your intuition, gentleness, all that, all the good stuff, and strength. That's a good collective lesson. Through the burdens, through the terribleness, anything that is thrown at us in this time, or at the time of the end, in the future, we'll be able to deal with. Recognize our strength, recognize that we don't have to be on the floor, that we have both external and internal resources to deal with the obstacles that life throws at us. So that is 3 lessons we will get from this political transition, this end. Strength, an end to burdens, and increased compassion, hopefully, empathy, being in the flow, all the good stuff. All the things we need that I think a lot of us are lacking. Okay. Let's see how the country is being spiritually and energetically impacted. Or rather, how it will be impacted by the end of this administration. Mm-hmm. Moon's on the bottom. 8 Eight of Pentacles. Expansion by the end. We'll feel like we'll be able to expand. We'll be focused. Okay, we'll be disciplined. We'll garner new skills. Five of Wands. Card of Conflict. Four of Wands. Five of Cups. Interesting. King of Wands. One more. Two of Swords. There will be a feeling of loss with the Five of Cups there. A feeling of needing to heal. There will be a feeling of balance and harmony. Okay, with the Four of Wands here. Coming back. This is the spiritual impact towards the end. You know, the effect, the impact this administration will have at the end. Okay. Two of Swords. Feels like a lot of confusion, perhaps some denial. This doesn't feel like, you know, really, it feels divided. Feels like some people will be celebrating and feeling, you know, ready to move forward and progress and expand, and some people won't. Some people will be upset. Either way, there'll be a feeling of loss for everyone and a need to heal. Okay, with the Five of Cups here, that's everybody, but the impact, the spiritual impact, it feels like it feels honestly conflicting, which is, I think, par for the course with this country. Everyone's split into different facets of everything, but they'll, you know, ultimately there'll be a feeling of grief and loss for the nation, feeling of needing to heal. Okay, let's look at time. Let's try to look at time. Okay. What energies? I'm going to use a different deck. All right, what energies will influence their transition of power? This is on the bottom. King of Pentacles. What energies will influence the transition of power? It says independence on the bottom there. Nine of Wands in reverse came out. Hold on, let's see. Nine of Wands in reverse. Let me make sure that I pulled this deck correctly. Yeah, and I checked. Nine of Wands in reverse. Energies that will influence the transition of power. So meaning energies that will influence the end. King of Pentacles. This is someone. King of Pentacles, you know, stability, security. It's about practicality. Okay. And the Nine of Wands in reverse. Nine of Wands upright is about perseverance and not giving up and keep going. You know, keep moving forward. You're right at the end. But the Nine of Wands in reverse is the opposite of that. Okay. Inflexibility, no forward movement, being stuck, being stubborn, reluctance to move forward. Tiredness, being beat down. The Star in reverse, major card. No, the energy surrounding the end that can impact the end. It has people losing faith in them, the ones who support them, the few, perhaps their own people turning on them, the administration, people just being fed up, feeling hopeless. Par for the course. Ace of Wands. Quick progression. Okay. The Star and the Ace, the Star in reverse and the Ace of Wands. The influence with the Nine of, right? We want stability and security. And the Nine of Wands is here. And so it feels as though there's a feeling of being stuck. We're experiencing it now. We're experiencing it now. Currently. This feeling of being... Nine of Wands upright is like, it's acknowledging the harsh reality of what you have experienced, but it says, keep going because you're right there at the end. But here it's in reverse. And so... a refusal to move forward, or you can't move forward. It's just, Wands is a progression. It happens fast. But this is in reverse here. It's you just this is influencing the end. This stuckness, this stubbornness, inflexibility. We're being beat up, you know, lack of stability and security. And the star in reverse here, till it starts to feel so hopeless. People losing faith, losing hope. You know, perhaps Republicans turning on the administration. Let's see. Does the star card in this reading represent Republicans losing faith on the Trump administration? Does that represent saying maybe? Saying maybe. Okay, Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands, the influence that impacts the transition, the end. Ace of Wands is about news coming out. Ace of Wands is a, I feel like I need to pull the next card. Wheel of Fortune. Hold on. I knew it. The Tower. I knew it. I said the Tower because this is telling, it feels as though this is telling a story. And the Tower is a major card, so it's a long term. The Tower is always there for them. Doesn't matter what happens now. Well, it does matter, but you know, the energy is so locked in because they have done so much here. It's like with the Star in reverse and the Ace of Wands, you know, so okay, there's a hopelessness perhaps that we're feeling, or the energy in general surrounding this that will impact us, you know, and perhaps help it progress faster, right? With the Star and, you know, all hope is lost sort of feeling. And progress into the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel says it could turn on you. And that's what it feels like happened here. Ace of Wands is about progression. It's about determination, okay? New opportunities. It's about a new exciting journey, or coming into personal power and growth. It's a surge with the Ace of Wands. And, you know, it's fast. And it feels like here the wheel turned and the Tower came. The Tower, shocking upheaval. What internal or external forces will play a key role in bringing this administration to an end? Okay, so I'm going to pick this up. Remember the Tower is there, guys, okay? Internal and an external. So let's look at internal first. I'll do 3, and then external, I'll do 3. 2 more shuffles. Internal, Judgment. Internal and external. So Judgment, interesting. King of Wands. Judgment often comes out when I talk about this administration. 5 of Pentacles. Let's look at external. Knight of Pentacles. Slow moving, methodical energy. Locked in and focused. Like I said, something on the outside. Something happening. Someone doing something. Queen of Cups. Again. It's going back to the beginning, the cards that I just pulled in the first question. 7 of Cups. External. So interesting. So internal, Judgment. King of Wands. 5 of Pentacles. Internal forces. That will play a key role in bringing this administration to its end. Major card, Judgment. This always comes out. Judgment is about, it's a card of karma, first of all. Okay, it says what you put out, you get back. If you live your life with integrity, then you will get good things back. The Judgment card is about taking responsibility. It encourages you to, because it says you're being judged. It's time now to come to the front of the room, or it's time to get your sentence. Okay, the horn has been blown and your time has come with the Judgment card. All right, it's about purpose. It's about, your future. It's about being discerning in the choices you make. And looking at this administration, have they taken responsibility? No. Are they willing to? No. Do they move with integrity? No. It's about a rebirth. It's about awakening. Anyway, King of Wands. Another internal influence. That Queen and King energy with the wands. This the thing we need, determination, someone who's determined, or a group of people who are determined, perhaps us, courageous, brave, not afraid to speak, not afraid to speak the truth, not afraid to just say, oh, this is concerning. King of Wands, the King and Queen of Wands. I'm saying them both because they both came out. And the energy is, Queen is the energy surrounding the end, And King as the internal force that's impacting the end, or bringing it to its end. Okay, this is someone, group of people, the collective perhaps. Let's see. Very spicy. Does the King of Wands represent the collective in this reading? Does the King of Wands represent the collective in this reading? Does the King of Wands? I'm saying yes. The King of Wands, the King and Queen of Wands goes after what they want, even if that means your end. Okay? They tell the truth. They're about the truth. They're passionate. They are about authenticity and truthfulness. Okay? Internal influence. 5 of Pentacles. Internal influence. 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles is really, it's really Donald Trump's aesthetic, because they are, and the Republicans, you know, quite honestly, because the card, 5 of Pentacles it's also the card of like the victim mentality. It doesn't really, this energy doesn't offer up a lot of space for a different perspective, or to be introspective, or to think and look outside of people are out to get me. I always get the short end of the stick, you know, on one side of it. On the other side, it's like a lack. You lack everything. Self-awareness, compassion. Spiritually, you lack. And so that's a big internal influence. Like I've always said, that will bring upon the end of this administration. Very interesting. Very interesting. Similar cards in a different deck came up. External influences, Knight of Pentacles. Like I said, this building up, determined, focused, locked in, not straying. Okay? Queen of Cups. This is the collective too. Compassion, intuitive, divine feminine as an external influence. 7 of Cups, discernment. An opportunity to choose. Multiple opportunities to choose wisely. It says inspiration at the bottom as an external influence. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Which signs should we look for that indicate the shift is near or beginning? Knight of Cups. What signs should we look for that indicate the shift is near or beginning? Knight of Cups. I have an idea of what that is saying. Four Swords. Cups and Swords. Okay. Four Swords. Okay. They're just gonna be tired. And I don't mean tired in the sense of Seven of Pentacles. I don't mean tired. I mean they're tired. Just corny. Their charms will wear off. You know, it's things we're already seeing already. With the Knight of, I'm reading this intuitively, not in reverse. Okay. So whether it's upright or in reverse, like that's how I'm reading the cards, if that makes sense. Okay. A lot of cups. Ace of Cups. A lot of cups. Temperance. This is about balance. This is about emotions. This is about again, the question is, let me read the question again. What signs should we look for that indicate the shift is near or beginning, meaning the shift to the end, okay, of this administration? And so far we have a card about your charms, okay, and then we have the Four Swords, which is about resting, being tired, being burnt out, or needing to take a break to change your perspective for deep introspection, okay, with the Four Swords. And this to me means like their charm will, they'll get less and less support. They'll just look tired, like they are. Just ragged, ratchet, tired. Okay, so that's the first sign. One of the signs. People sort of, the ones who supported him, Seven of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups and Temperance. Also, something about emotional stability I'm hearing. A lack of that, becoming more and more apparent. Things are becoming more unhinged. I mean, how much more unhinged can it become? But listen, we're here. The Hangman. Again, the Four Swords is here and the Hangman. The Hangman is there. Really about perspective. On top of the Seven, it's telling me to put it here. And Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles is you're able to make something grow and expand and for your future stability and security. And if the Hangman is here, the first sign is that ain't happening. We are, in fact, not growing economically. We are suspended because of their lack of competence, because of their lack of care, okay? Lack of compassion and empathy, Lack of wisdom and knowledge with Temperance here. Look, all these cups. King of Cups. All these cups. 1, 2. It's only 2, but 3. 3 cups and Temperance. About, there's something here emotionally. Queen of Pentacles. Nope, 9 of Pentacles. A lack of expansion, a lack of security and stability, a lack of growth, lack of emotional stability, even worse. Lack of balance. Give me the overall sign. Overall sign. Seven of Swords on the bottom. They told me to pull that. They said, look, and I'll pull them from the top. 3 of Wands. Seven of Swords. What does that say? Seven of Swords and 3 of Wands. Seven of Swords is the, what does that say? Sneakiness, thievery, corruption, cheating, lying. They're trying to be strategic, but it's just very flimsy. It just doesn't work. And the 3 of Wands, waiting for results to come in, waiting for something to come in, or perhaps something coming in from overseas. Okay. First sign, one of the signs. Okay. News, 3 of Wands, it's about information and news about Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, a scandal, all the good things that we want to come out. So those are the signs. Have we seen them? Have we seen them? The real question is, or the challenge, I think, for a lot of us is these things have come out and we've seen them. These things have come out and we've seen them, and then nothing happens, seemingly. And we're like, okay, well. But what these cards are saying is, with the Pentacles coming out, it's slow, methodical build to something. All those hangmans, something's happening. Something is going on. Okay. All right, I want to try one more thing before I let you go. see. Oh, okay. The Tower. I asked how much longer to give me a card to show, and he showed me the Tower. It's almost like it feels like, you know, I was really thinking about my channeling today. It was a little hard. And I was thinking about the messages and the things I heard. And you know, it's like all these messages and being prepared, and you're being prepared for something, and we're experiencing all of this. And it's like, you know, the Tower is here. Major cards are like long-term energies, you know. And when I asked, okay, when? And a major card came out, and it's like, it's really about collective shifts rather than quickly external changes. Spiritual energies, spiritual forces, you know. It's been taking some time, and that came out in those cards, but it feels, I'm good words. Spirit is saying it has to happen, and I know you guys don't like when I say that. I don't know any other way to say it. I'm not gonna lie. Not to say anyone has lied. You know, we all see things. We see different things collectively that we all end up in the same ending, you know. But what I see, I'm not going to say something I don't see. I can only ever say how long something could take. Rather, not that's not what I wanted to say. I can only say how I understand it. What I've been told. You know? I got Pentacles here again. It's the same sort of, you know, it's saying, before I leave here, Pentacles is a slow, grounded energy. You know? Mindful, practical, focused, moving, yes, slow, moving energy. That's what we literally have to be. That's what we need to be. Us, you know, grounded, mindful. That isn't always easy. Patient. But this is literally, it doesn't matter what I ask, how I ask it, how I present it. The lesson that I interpret and the messages that I hear are always the same. In order to get to this long-term destruction, will be unexpected, yeah, because we're in this mindset of like, oh boy. That's where we are. That's how I could describe it. You know, so sorry if that was jarring, but the Tower is locked in energy. I know we strive for answers. You guys want answers. I understand that. And this is the answer that we have to accept. Because the cards for the past few months have not changed. The energies have shifted, spiritual energies, collective energies, but this is locked in. Please remember, I want you guys, this is my message, to remember. And I need to remember too. But this Pentacles energy, that seems to have been the theme, which is slow. Give me months. We're 6 months in. But what did it, Mandela said, a fever pitch is growing and growing. The more that they do, the more, and I don't want that to happen, you know, but it just seems like Spirit and everyone is saying to me, listen, we have to be, quick is not enough. It has to be rooted into the ground to stick. And that is what's happening. What I'm beginning to, what I've understood, but I think it's getting easier for me to explain it. Okay? It has been talking for an hour and 18 minutes, so I'm going to let you guys go. Okay? I hope you got something out of this. Please like the video. I tried my best. But I feel like, you know, Pentacles do represent months. Tower is just happened. It's quick and unexpected. It's more of a long-term locked-in energy because it's a major card. But I just want you guys to focus on the message. Okay? The signs that I talked about that I do believe we have been seeing. Just live your lives and take care of yourselves. Try to take care of each other. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Like the video. Bye.